For my project, I'm going to be talking about the declarative self and viewing how it relates to my own life. The declarative self is a type of self-knowledge. It refers to all your conscious opinions about your own personality. It is typically broken down into two types of knowledge, the first being your broad opinion of yourself, and the second being a detailed view of your traits. I will begin talking about the first type of knowledge, which is a person's broad opinion of themselves. It is better known as self-esteem. Self-esteem is based on your overall opinion about whether you're good or bad, and whether you're worthy or unworthy.
You look sad. What's wrong?
Corey broke up with me.
Is it because you're ugly and stupid?
I'm not that ugly, and I have great grades. There you just saw how I view my own self-esteem. Self-esteem can be an issue if it's too low or too high. Low self-esteem is bad because studies show it correlates with career and relationship dissatisfaction, hopelessness, depression, and loneliness. High self-esteem is correlated with a decrease of all of these. A recent meta-analysis from 2015 showed that one way to improve your self-esteem is through exercise. Self-esteem that is too high is also a bad thing. This happens when people are self-enhancing and think that they are better than everyone. They can't see what others don't respect about them, and they risk losing their social support. Studies have seen that overly high self-esteem is correlated with arrogant, abusive, and criminal behavior. We just finished talking about the first type of knowledge, which is the broad opinion of yourself. Now I'll talk about the second type of knowledge, which is a person's detailed opinion of themselves. This includes self-schema, self-reference, self-efficacy, and the self-discrepancy theory. The self-schema is where some psychologists think the declarative self lives. It includes all of one's ideas about the self and organizes it into a logical system.
What type of person are you?
Clean. Caring.
Wow.
Generous.
I'm so poor. Thanks. Yeah.
Responsible.
Yeah.
There you just saw how I use my self-schema to answer questions about my personality. It's easy to think about self-schema as the type of knowledge you use when taking a personality test. You rely on your self-schema to take the mass amount of information you have on yourself and organize it so you can quickly access it when you need it. Studies have shown the self-schema is developed from past experiences, but not from specific events. We think this because a person's self-view does not change when they lose specific memories. Self-reference is part of the declarative self that suggests that the self affects memory.
Half of it. Okay.
How can I better remember this information?
Well, how does it relate to you personally?
That'll work.
Perfect.
There you just saw how I use the self-reference effect to better remember information. Self-reference effect is when information is stored in long-term memory after a person thinks about how it personally relates to them. This suggests that self-knowledge is well developed and used a lot, since any information connected to it is easy to remember. Self-efficacy is part of the declarative self that refers to a person's opinions about their capabilities.
You're an awful dancer.
I'm not a professional dancer because I can't dance. There you just saw how I think about my abilities and how this affects what I attempt to do. Self-efficacy sets limits for what people try to do, and is also believed to set the foundation of personality. The self-discrepancy theory explains that people compare the desired self to their actual self, and a difference between them affects how they feel. I'm gonna be a nice person. You're really ugly. Now I feel all anxious because I was mean and I was trying to be nice.
Rude.
Still ugly. There you saw how I think about my desired self ought to be and how my actual self acts. You see how the difference between them causes me emotional discomfort. There are two types of desired selves. The first is your ideal self. This is what you want to be. The second is your ought self. This is what you think others want you to be. When your ideal self doesn't match your actual self, you experience depression. And when your ought self doesn't match your actual self, you experience anxiety.